Good day, everyone. Before we will proceed, I would like to say thank you to Ma'am Fe Eliogo, our thesis advisor. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I would like to introduce our group members. First, we have Mr. Lloyd Valeroso, Miss Jerry Ann Buensustizo, Miss Janet Allison Sebastian, and Miss Love Adsuara. Our research entitled Customer Satisfaction in Dine-In and Take-Out of Food Items During Pandemic. For the chapter 1, I will be discussing for the introduction about the problem and its background. In the present, the world, including the food industry, is going through a difficult situation. The business risks associated with the restaurant are thought to be extensive and high level. Many customers are worried about safety concerns. Restaurant sanitation and disinfection have become more important than ever during the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite the fact that customers can hardly check visually, it is now more important than ever for restaurants to demonstrate through clear action that they are providing a safe environment for their customers. One of our life pleasures is eating as well as cooking and serving good food to others. During the first wave of the pandemic, many restaurants and establishments were forced to close their businesses due to fear of catching nationwide and used in 2021. In the time of the COVID-19 outbreak in 2021, the restaurant industry is one of the most affected businesses due to the unprecedented global pandemic. Customer preferences regarding whether or not to dine in a restaurant have shifted. Based on eater.com, when people were looking for ways to interact with one another in early days of the pandemic, they all agreed that being outside and those outdoor dining was far safer than eating in a restaurant's dining room or congregating in the cramped confines of a bar. And while outdoor dining appears to be relatively safe on paper, when surrounded by friends or family, we tend to overlook potential hazards. It's awkward to ask a friend to put on their mask when they're not eating or not avoid a hug from a loved one. It's also all too easy to endanger restaurants workers who bear the lion's share of the risk by forgetting or simply refusing to put on a mask when wait staff arrives to take an order or deliver food. Wear a mask with a filter even if you're dining outside, and consider layering two masks on top of each other. Pull the mask back over your mouth and nose in between bites. This protects not only you and your fellow diners, but also restaurant workers, many of whom do not yet have access to a COVID-19 vaccine, are unable to file or unemployment, and must risk serious illness in order to collect a paycheck. And for the statement of the problem, I would like to introduce Ms. Love Adzuara.
Thank you. Statement of the problem. The general problem of the study, how may the pandemic affects the customer satisfaction in dine-in and take-out of food items in the food establishments, City of Malolos, Bulacan. Specifically, it sought to answer the following questions. Number 1, what are the feedbacks of customers in dine-in and take-out during the pandemic in terms of sanitation and health risk? Number 2, how does the food establishment implement the health protocol in the preparation of foods for dine-in and take-out of food item in terms of food service and food quality? Number 3, What action plan may be proposed in catering the clients during pandemic when dine-in and take-out of foods? And for the next topic, I introduce Lloyd for significance of the study.
Thank you, Love. Significance of the study. The study will benefit the following beneficiaries. Local government unit. The study will help to make strategies on how the establishment or restaurant in the area make a safer environment for the customer and how establish an effective way to let everyone follow the health protocol for them to be safer. Establishment or restaurant owners. The operators and the owners can implement a much safer way to entice the customer and make the establishment environment much more customers friendly. Example, disinfection, cleanliness, and risk-free. Parents. The parents can help their children to decide whether eating in or out of the restaurant is safe. The study will also inform them of the possible risks of both choice, young or youth adults. The young or youth adults can make the decision much wiser and effective. The study will serve the background reference or a foundation of their choice. The next is the scope and delimitation presented by Jess.
Scope and delimitation of the study. With the researchers conducted the study that aims determine the preference of the particular age group which is selected randomly in specific local dining in and take out of food items considering outcomes of the decision they made. The researchers implemented strictly that will select on the respondents who are aged 18 to 25 and the resident at the city of Malolos, Bulacan, who are customers and made the decision in dining and take out of food items. Questionnaire survey is used as research instrument to get the majority answer much efficient and convenient. Terms. Food industry refers to the industry surrounding the product of food. Indoor dining refers to indoor activities or things are one that happen or are used inside the building at outside. Outdoor dining refers to availability of restaurant-style settings, facilities in an order area, usually of the sidewalk or an open space adjacent to the structures. These repairs can be applied to places which only offer outdoor dining during warm weather. Even if the ability is removed in less temperature season, it is generally applied to places with restaurant, cafes, or similar usages. Pandemic refers to an outbreak of a disease that occurs over a wide geography areas such as multiple countries or continents and typically affects of a significant proportion of the population. For the next topic, I would like to introduce Mario Delina for relevant theories.
Thank you so much, Jess. For the relevant theories, COVID-19 had different effects on dining activities in different countries. The influences had a wide range of effects, ranging from the complete closure of dining in restaurants to only adopting strict new norms in order to reopen. Researchers from all over the world were giving access to trial in order to investigate customers' post-pandemic COVID-19 preferences. The theory of planned behavior identified and justified existing differences between people, emphasizing an importance of nation-to-nation differentiation during pandemics and the lavish increase in health risks. According to El Sayed Y. Crisis Abdul Hassan, restaurants were faced with with the difficult task of determining how to communicate COVID-19 protective practices in light of changing mandates and consumers' perceptions of COVID-19 risk. The COVID-19 protective messages that were recommended differed depending on whether the restaurants offered indoor, dining, or takeout or delivery. That is according to Johnson's, Ryback, and East Burton. And for the related literature, I would like to introduce Ms. Love Adzuara.
Thank you. Related literature, understanding the conscious and unconscious drivers or stimuli at the decisioning making process of hospitality. Customers can help to boost and accelerate the recovery and resilience of the hospitality industry, according to Pappas and Lipto 2021. This was confirmed by Beard et al. 2021, who reported a significant change in dining consumer behavior as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. In order to develop successful practices, the theories of planned behavior and protection motivation theory emphasize the importance of researching people's preference, attitudes, and behaviors during health risk periods, particularly in the tourism and hospitality industries. According to Westcott et al. 2017, Olker, Demirel, and Sipsi 2020, CM Ramos claims that according to the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infection Disease, restaurant and other food establishments in Metro Manila and several provinces placed under General Community Quarantine or GCQ will be limited to takeout, deliveries, and outdoor and dining only by the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Disease. The purpose of this study is to learn about and observe the client's preference for eating outside or inside that come with it. And for the next topic, I would like to introduce Lloyd for related studies.
Studies. Thank you, Love. Related studies. Customers should be aware of the sanitation process at hospitality and tourism enterprises in order to manage their fears and increase their satisfaction. Some countries have only permitted delivery and takeaway at specific times since the start of the pandemic. Home delivery was reported as the only way for American restaurants to survive and the most preferred mode of delivery in the US. For selected samples, Risek et al. 2021, the psychological factor, contagion effect, and theories, namely the behavioral inhibila- in, yeah, inhabilitation system theory and the crisis management theory, influence many dining customers to prefer private rooms. Dining delivery mode was another factor heavily influenced by the COVID-19 pandemic. Next is Mario Delina for perceptual framework.
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. Conceptual framework. For the input, we write here what are the feedbacks of the customers in dine-in and take-out during the pandemic in terms of, first, we have the sanitation. Second, we have the health risks. And for number two, how does the food establishments implement the health protocol in the preparation of foods for dine-in and take-out of food items in terms of the food service? Next is the food quality. We have write it also here for the number three, what action plan may be proposed in catering the clients during pandemic when dine in and take out of foods. For the process customer survey, we have disseminating survey form and we have the evaluations of the responses, statistical treatment, and for the output, we do have responses of the respondents determine that customer satisfaction in dine-in and take-out of food items during the pandemic. And chapter number three, research methodology. Next, we have methods and techniques, which is to be discussed with Jazz Allison. Sorry, Miss Jazz Allison, you are on mute.
Thank you, Lord Adelina. Methods and techniques. This research is aiming to determine the preferences of the customer or the clients regarding dining in or out and out of food items in restaurants. The method of the study is descriptive method refers to the method that describes the characteristic of the variables under study. I would like to introduce Jeric for population and sample of the study.
Thank you, Jess. Population and sample of the study. The 50 randomly selected respondents are from the age group of 18 to 25 years old only and classified as young adults. The locale of the study will be in city of Malolos, Bulacan. Randomly sampling is used to select the respondents randomly. The next is research instrument. Research instrument. Researcher made questionnaire survey. Draft questionnaire was created based on the researcher readings previous studies, related literature, and articles relevant of the study. Next is data gathering procedure presented by Mario Dalina.
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. For the data gathering procedure, permission was asked from the participants themselves. The researchers will explain to the respondents the content of the study. The respondents were given enough time to respond to the questions. Following data and collection, the researchers gathered is for tallying the results and applying the statistical treatment to be used with the study. And for the data processing and the statistical treatment, let me introduce Ms. Slav Atsuara.
Thank you. Data processing and statistical treatment. After the collection and gathering of data, it will be encoded to computer software, specifically Microsoft Excel. The data will be tallied and the frequency percentage distribution will be used in the study. The outcome will determine whether clients or customers prefer to dine inside or outside the restaurant. Questionnaires generate the results, which will measure the factors mentioned as well as the for discussion purposes of the study. Frequency and percentage distribution will utilize to interpret participants' personal information and their perceptions on. The following statistical treatment will be used by the researchers to effectively interpret the study's data. Number 1 is frequency and percentage distribution. A frequency and percentage distribution is a type of data visualization that shows the percentage of observation for each data point of groupings of data points. For creating a frequency and percentage distribution entails determining the total number of observation to be presented as well as counting the total number of observation within each data point of groupings of data points. Number 2 is weight mean. Weight mean. A weight mean is a kind of average instead of each data point contributing equally to final mean. Some data points contribute more weight than others. Um, Next is chapter 4. Data presentation and interpretation. This chapter deals with the presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data gathered through the questionnaires used for analyzing the behavioral effects of social media to the academic performance. The survey questionnaire are prepared to evaluate the various aspects of the instructional materials proposed by the researchers. Number 1, the gender is female and male. Frequency is female is 30, male in 20. Percentage is female 60% and male is 40%. Table 2. Question. Feedback of customers in dine-in and take-out during the pandemic in terms of 1.1 is sanitation and 1.2 is health risk. The table 2 shows the question number 1 from the survey. 2.18 is 3.81 is the result of the questionnaire for the first question, which interpret to very satisfactory. And table 3 is food establishment implement the health protocol in the preparation of foods for dine-in and take-out of food items in terms of 1.1 is food service, 1.2 is food quality. The table 3 shows the question number 2 from the survey. 3.96 is the result of the questionnaire for the first question, which interpret to very satisfactory. Most of the respondents answered very satisfactory. This table above shows the interpretation of results from the questionnaire given to the respondents. This survey was made to determine the questionnaires' views on how food establishment implements the health protocol in the preparation of foods for dine-in and take-out of food items. The descriptive equivalent are as follows. 1 to 1.8 is excellence. 1.9 to 2.6 is very satisfactory. 2.7 to 3.4 satisfactory. 3.5 to 4.2 is unsatisfactory. 4.3 to 5 is poor. And for the chapter 5, I would introduce Lloyd for the summary.
Chapter 5. Thank you, love. Chapter 5. Summary, conclusion, and recommendation. This chapter includes the summary, the findings, the conclusion, and the recommendation. The summary presented by Sebastian.
Again, for the summary findings, Ms. Jazz Sebastian.
Thank you, Lloyd, for the summary. The researchers focus on the customer, feedback on how they are satisfied in dining or take-out food of items. From the local of city of Malolos, Bulacan, 50 respondents were taken aged 18 to 25 years only, where the researchers can look at contrasting views survey method using Google Form in use by disseminating it to responder where it is efficient and compatible for the situation nowadays. The main point of the surveys was to ascertain the customer satisfaction, how it varies to each one of the respondents. For the next topic, I would like to introduce Lloyd for summary findings.
Summary of findings. Summary of findings.
Okay. Mr. Lloyd, let me discuss the summary of findings. For the summary of findings, these are the following findings of the study. First one, we have most of the respondents answered very satisfactory from the results of the tabulated data. The researchers concluded that the customers of food establishments around city of Malolos, Bulacan were satisfied of what they are offered to them. Number two, we have dining in and take-out of food items during the pandemic has different views according to the respondents. Different establishments protocols when it comes to food handling and service, as well as health safety of the customers. And number three, we have proper safety measures and planning should be implemented to the facilities where customers and employees will be residing. Safety protocol should be the first priority when preparing food and serving it. And next for the conclusions, we have Mr. Lloyd Valeroso. So that is the end of our research, which is entitled Customer Satisfaction in Dine-In and Take-Out of the Food Items During Pandemic. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.